Yeah, that's a quote. All right, go ahead.
More questions? Anyone?
What's kind of your sense?
I will leave.
What's kind of your sense of the Big Ten through 4 games so far? I mean, is it kind of stacking up how you thought it would, or how do you see that?
With the plethora of injuries, usually we just got all the injuries, it seemed like. And now with just you look at the issues and injuries at Minnesota. That game looked like it was going to be a top 25 win. Who knows where it ends up now. Maryland endured some injury. Just through the time, you've got all these different, the teams just are trying to figure, and the teams are trying to figure themselves out, right? And then you've got new guys, so to speak, like Ohio State, and you're realizing how talented, we knew Keita Bates-Diop, and then their young freshman big, Caleb Wesson is really, really good. He's special. And, Thad left that in pretty good shape. I think that we're figuring ourselves out, and we're going to be a gainer late. So I think the league is still developing, honestly. I think you're going to see, by the end of the year, 6 really, really good teams, and then a lot of the teams that could beat 6 really, really good teams.
Apologies if I have the wording wrong, but you mentioned Saturday after the game that thought Purdue felt like they got lucky to win that game. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, that was, in the context of a conversation with Kent and I on the radio, right? So Kent is like, how do you feel? Matt Painter says that game was there for the taking. And that's kind of the way I feel. Like, we just didn't do enough. It was at 9 or 10 forever, and we just didn't do enough offensively, because we were getting stops and doing a lot of very good things defensively. And I believe what Matt said, that game was there for the taking. So it was kind of in that context, not like it was a lucky break or anything like that. So, when I look at it, you just sit there and you watch the tape with the guy and you look at how many times we shot ourselves in the foot where we had a chance to close that gap and even the game where anything can happen, and we didn't do it. So that's what I meant by that.
Is that encouraging to you that you're kind of a coin flip away from a top 5 team?
Well, no. It's always disappointing to lose, especially when you feel like you do it to yourself. But we know Purdue's really good. There's no doubt Purdue's really good. But I do believe in our guys, and I think hopefully it can be at least the idea that it gives you a little bit of a strength and depth in your confidence that you can play with anybody, any night, anywhere.
Tim, we always talk about how important it is to take care of the home court, but you're when the league's in such flux, can it be even more important?
Yeah, the home court advantage used to be like they'd say, in the old days we'd say it'd be like 10 points, and then they started doing the math on it. It was like 4.5 or 5 points, and now they've got every team, and we're actually still one of the better ones in the country at 4. But your advantage is like a bucket, and so it's not a great advantage, but at the same time, the advantage is, I think, the energy of your players, the fact that you've got fans, lifting them up and making them feel more confident. And that certainly happens in Pinnacle Bank Arena because our fans are really good, and hopefully we get a great crowd on Tuesday because this is a very important game.
Why? Why is this an important game, Tim?
Like Lee just said, I think taking care of home court and making sure, and last year this is a team that beat us on our home court in overtime. And so, we need to be able to stay on the front end of this thing, right? And right now we're kind of, in a 5-way tie or whatever it is, for whatever place at 2-2, and you're going one or two directions, right? Up or down. And so I think that makes this a very important game.
What do you think your bigs with Tanner, Doobie, and Jordy gained from playing against Purdue in a physical game like that? I mean, Purdue has some of the better 4s and 5s in the country, and I know you said you wish your team would have done more, but how good of an experience was that for those 3 guys to go up against their big guys like Haas and Harms and those guys?
There's no doubt that they've got an elite big in Isaac Haas and an emerging big in Matt Harms, and that both bring a lot of things to the table. And so for especially a guy like Tanner, I think trying to figure that out, like where he belongs, because there's a lot of uncertainty sometimes, I think, in his mind, like, can I do this? And shouldn't be, but he's just gaining confidence every time out. You know, Jordy is, you know, I started him and then didn't start him in the second half, but I'm going to roll Jordy out there. I mean, he's a guy I've invested in. We did it with Ty Webster his freshman year and saw it through to the end and went to the NCAA tournament. And I've just kind of got that same bullish attitude about Jordy, is that, you know, the guys want Jordy to do well. They want to be able to throw it into him and let him make a play. And you know, we just, sometimes he's got the ball in some tough situations, but I think Jordy's seeing, you know, we've got him on 2 or 3 things we're trying to really just narrow down on to work on, and hopefully that can give him some confidence and make him feel like he's ready to be productive. But going against those guys, you know, the next guys, you like to think, oh, it'll be easier next time. Then you've got Ethan Happ, who might be the player of the year, you know, and probably one of the craftier dudes out there. I mean, he'll one group against Rutgers, he ran the point guard. You know, I mean, they inbound to him, he brought it down, put it into play, post up, throw it to him, score. And, you know, it's like Dolan High. And so, you know, it's just really fascinating to see, you know, this league that way. And then I guess we play Penn State afterwards, who I think's got really, really good talent. That top 5 is really good for Penn State.
You guys kept Happ's points down last year for the most part. I mean, what can you guys kind of do to defend him, given the ways that he can attack you?
Yeah, I thought 2 seasons ago in the Big Ten tournament we did an excellent job when they went to the Sweet 16 and we beat them in that second game to go to the quarterfinals. And we did a really good job on him. And that we kind of had the same game plan. Now, this year's a little different because they move him around a little more. But they also don't quite, you know, they've got solid three-point shooting, but not necessarily any elite three-point shooter out there yet. Some of those guys will develop in time. But, you know, with the lack of experience in some of those guys right now, I don't think they're quite there, knock on wood, right? And so, you know, we have to be, you know, Ethan's going to get some of his, but it's just kind of like Derek Pardon got 17 points on 18 shots or whatever it was. And if it can be efficiency like that, I don't care what he gets, you know, as long as it's not catastrophic for the Huskers.
You sense it around them, around him, they're sort of in that phase that you talked about, the other teams in the league sort of figuring out where they are and how their pieces fit together. So
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that, you know, you go into the season thinking you're one thing and then things happen, injuries or guys step up that you don't expect to, or some guys don't perform the way you'd hope to. And what you think you are in October, November, those first 6-7 games usually isn't what you are in January and February. I think Wisconsin's realizing that, and also, you know, with Travis Trice, whenever he comes back, or his brother, Trice, comes back, that, you know, they'll be a little bit different too, because they'll have, you know, they can put Brad Davison off guard and let him run some point. And so they'll become a little bit different again. But you're constantly, you know, basketball is not an even product. I've said this so many times, you guys are sick of hearing it. But, you know, with the length of the season, the amount of games, the way the schedule is, I mean, we have 4 games in 9 days, 10 days? You know, you think we're going to play great every day? No. I mean, I hope we do. I mean, and I hope that we go out and win every game. But at the same time, you know, it's an ever-changing product. And you, as a coach, you've got to figure that out. And I think the whole league is in that state right now.
Are you more at ease with the way the schedule's compressed this year, the depth you have this year? Is it, I mean, think about playing a compressed schedule of last year's roster.
Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, I'm very much at ease in terms of I trust this team. I really like our team. I enjoy coaching them and being around them, and I hope they feel the same. And they play hard, so I think they do feel the same. And so when I look at this, you know, the one-day preps, the short preps, you don't like them. Everybody has to deal with them. Plus, we need to get our guys rest. So there's no doubt, like, somebody this week we're going to have a one-day prep either for Illinois or Penn State, you know. And yesterday we really didn't do much. And so today will be our only day on the floor, and we're only going to get about an hour, hour and a half, you know, hour 15, hour and a half, you know, of live action. So, you know, and to get that game plan in, you know, yesterday was kind of a mental day, and today now we've got to get, you know, some physical habits that we can do to stop, you know, maybe the best big man in the league, maybe. Anything else?
Well,